Fuck.
Welcome to Transition to Death.
I hope this is not a precursor for the entire year.
Well, let me see if I can go dig up the right one then.
Season 9, episode 1, sir.
That was the one I thought I downloaded.
This is with his intermission cards, you know?
Yeah,
with the dancing popcorn.
Please wait. Welcome to
All
2024.
right, let's
We're
take
fucking it
that
up
one
already.
out. Don't mind us, folks. I'm a pro. Again, you get what you pay for. I get no pay. I paid for this. I literally paid to do this damn show. So,
Hello,
all right,
Molly.
let's try that again. And hi, Molly. Okay, now we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to Transition to Death. Feel your eyes begin to get heavy. You fall deeper and deeper into a trance. Your body becomes weightless as your heart begins to slow down. Do not be afraid. You are at rest. You fall deeper and deeper. Your soul begins to separate from your body. You begin to feel the warmth of fire. This is the arrival to your final destination. Welcome to eternal damnation. You are now entering hell.
What is this place? What have I done? Condemn myself to eternal damnation. Claims my soul. There's no turning back. There's nowhere to go. Please save me. I don't belong here. I led a good life. This is immoral. And all these demons try to possess me. Hold my head down. Drop me in fire. You know you're never going home. Now you're trapped inside the depths of the unknown. It's a soul forsaken. They'll pull you down now into the fire until the flames get higher. Abandon all your own. Welcome to hell.
You know, I've just now realized that that's pretty much what they should replace to the Welcome to Florida sign when you know, as soon as you come in, instead of,
Welcome to hell.
yeah, it should
Yeah,
immediately.
why not?
Yeah. And hello, everyone. And yes, Randy, Rob has his fancy jammies on since it's like
Damn
below
straight. I'm
70 degrees.
a fancy motherfucker. I gotta wear fancy jammies.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
that what
And
we're
hi,
going with?
Josh.
Yes. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of 2024, man. We actually made it through the last year and going full speed ahead, man. And in that, we want to like nail to death the last year. So we're going to be talking about the In Memoriam people we have lost in the past year. But before we get into all that good stuff and lots of spooky, great announcements, Rob, Matt, hi. How are you? Rob, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the finest cranberry and lime sparkling water. I've had an upset tummy. I'm just getting over food poisoning that went on for about a week, 4 days, 5 days. It's been a long time, so I'm not pushing it.
And this weather is not helping because we're all old, and unfortunately, we are at the age where the weather does affect us, unfortunately. And Matt, I am loving those glasses, man. Those
Thanks.
are badass.
Thank
I
you
like
very
that.
much.
I like that. So what are you drinking tonight, my good sir?
Let's see here.
Ooh. Wow.
Ooh, some bee nectar.
Ooh.
Good stuff. Bee nectar. Ooh,
Very
that does sound
very
Hey, enlighten us, please.
It's delicious.
That is nice.
Yeah, just straight old Coca-Cola. Nothing.
I know
interesting.
chai tea. You would have never thought it would be good, but it is very
You
good.
know, there's very little that chai tea's not good with, I've found over the years. Like every time something gets mixed with chai, I'm like, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Nice
You wouldn't think
pepperiness
so.
to it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I hope you all are staying warm and the fucking craziness that's going on out there. And normally during this time of the show, this is where we go around and ask everyone what they're watching. But I know we're all just too busy keeping warm. One of the things I thought about talking about, and I thought this would be interesting, and for you guys in the chat as well, Spooky has announced that they're going back to Camp Spooky. That we'll get into that later, but that's the theme this year is Camp Spooky Empire. So thinking of camp horror movies, not campy horror movies, but camp horror movies. How many of them actually are there? That I mean, Rob, what ones have you seen? And we know.
Well, so okay. Generally speaking, I hate camp movies. I hate wilderness stuff. I don't like the woods. Although I do have a real odd thing for watching like survival people, like Bear Grylls and Dual Survive. Like I'll watch that. I'll watch people actually out there. That
would make a great horror movie.
Well, but as far as like those movies, I mean, you've got the Friday the 13th up until Jason went to Manhattan.
Fair.
Then they went from camp horror to urban horror. Ultimately sci-fi horror. You know, Jason crossed off all of
every franchise has to do that now. They have to make the jump to space, not jumping the shark, but actually going to space.
You've got Sleepaway Camp, obviously.
Yes.
And there's all sorts of really shitty. Look, we have a wild sighting of a Harriet.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone. We were trying to get it on the laptop, and I don't think it's gonna work. So I'm on my phone.
Yay!
I blame the Russians. Yeah.
There you
go. Either way works. We don't judge. There's a bunch. Again, here's the thing. There's not a lot of great notable camp horror movies after you get outside of the Friday the 13th movies because everyone kind of tried to jump on that bandwagon.
It is interesting. All right,
we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but like as far as the others, like I actually went through a list and I found a couple dozen, and I'm like, it's like Sleepover Camp Massacre, Summer Camp Massacre, Camping Massacre. I mean, it's like they go through this. And it's this long list of, I might have heard of a couple of these. I might have seen a couple of these at Blockbuster. I don't know anyone who's actually seen them, though.
Yeah, I mean, someone was telling me before about something called Cheerleader Camp, which...
That's a porn.
You know, it can be A and B, you know. But that sounds like actually it could be kind of fun, you know, Cheerleader Camp. That could be fun. But I mean, let's see, with Sleepaway Camp, and then of course Blair Witch, not
really a camp movie though. It's
not a camp movie. Not even close. They don't go camping, or they go camping rather, but it's not a camp. That's a wilderness horror.
Okay, well then that's a good point. What distinguishes a wilderness horror from a camp horror?
Is there a counselor?
Yeah.
Did the kids have to pay, or did they get bussed in from the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were permission slips signed at any point?
Okay.
They're chaperones.
I like that. So you guys in the chat, I'm curious as to what you guys think as well. If there have been camp horror movies that you've seen that we should talk about, or what distinguishes wilderness horror from camp horror. I mean,
here's the other one. If the people went voluntarily, that's camping horror. That's wilderness horror. If they were forced to go, you know, against their will, that's a kid he was sent off to camp by their parents. That's camping horror.
Okay, that can be argued both ways, though. I mean, because Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th, they all voluntarily went there.
Not the kids. The counselors did because they were going to get laid. The kids were forced. They didn't want to go. Nobody wants to go to camp.
There were no kids in the first one. It was all the counselors.
Thank you.
No, it was before the kids showed up. It was like part, 4 or 5? No.
Yeah, later, but not in the original. The original was all just the camp counselors or counselors.
Yeah, because that was before the kids actually showed up. She's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, camp.
All right. Well, they're still they're counselors. So I'll stand by my earlier definition. If there's a counselor involved, if there's somebody with a megaphone or short shorts, that's camping.
Clipboard.
Okay,
right.
Interesting. I would have thought
it's a counts.
If there's a park ranger, that's a wilderness horror.
Oh, wait till Yogi Bear goes into the.
That's the difference between Cocaine Bear and Friday the 13th.
That's a good point. So I mean, so technically, then wilderness horror would mean Cocaine Bear as opposed to. Okay, all right.
Yes.
it was called the camp and they were there to work. No, Melanie is absolutely right. She's absolutely right. Yeah. Counselors just wanted sex, drugs, and money. Don't we all?
Yeah, I mean, are we really going to fault the counselors?
Yes.
What the hell else is there in life?
I let that fucker drown too.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Pay grade or little Timmy goes swimming. You know. But
Or Jason.
yeah, exactly. So Harriet, I mean, how many camp horror movies would you say you've seen?
I've seen all the Friday the 13th. I've seen Sleepaway Camp. I think I've seen the sequel. I've seen Cabin in the Woods. Does that really count? It's not really.
See, and that's where we fall into like the gray area.
Because I mean, if you look at Evil Dead, that's not a camp.
It's
exactly.
It's just a cabin out in the wilderness.
Yeah, Cabin Fever, Wrong Turn, exactly. These are all not camp movies, but take place in the woods. So
yeah, and I've seen, the American Horror Story season of that. The whole.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
That was all. It was all very stabby.
The 80s one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
okay, that's a good point.
If we're talking favorites, I have to go with the classic. I mean, Friday the 13th, the very first one.
Yeah.
I
mean, the fact that the original spawned God knows how many movies that tried to copy it. It's a sign of success.
And I was looking them up earlier, and I came across The Burning, and I've seen it from the beginning to the middle. I've never watched the whole thing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think, well, I don't know. Am I missing out? Somebody tell me. Do I need to watch the whole thing of The Burning? I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this. Everyone's homework assignment when we get together next time is to watch Bloody Bloody Bible Camp.
Okay.
I'm going through the list, and I really wasn't exaggerating. I mean, just let me give you a list of camping horror movies, most of which some you'll recognize, some you won't. So there's Sleepaway Camp 2. Then you have Summer Camp, Spirit Camp, Final Summer, Bloody Summer Camp, Bloody Murder, Summer Camp Massacre, Camp Wedding, which is a horror movie apparently, Camp Dread.
Oh yeah, Camp Dread. I forgot about that. Okay.
Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. That's, Camp Massacre. Just no Summer
Melanie's
Camp Massacre.
telling you
Camp
to slow
Massacre.
down.
And Scooby-Doo Camp Scare. So.
Oh, okay.
Scooby's got to have a DVD in there somewhere. I just bought one yesterday that I haven't seen. So
interesting.
Yeah,
it's a good way to start off the new year, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I watched the latest and greatest of the what was it, Hell House LLC.
Really? Okay.
House LLC, the Carmichael Manor. I watched that. It was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Carl just threw in Virgin Orgy at Camp Massacre.
Oh.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Now
that's been studied by film scholars for quite some time, as a matter of fact. You look at all the classics. Yeah, Orson Welles, Fellini, Virgin Camp,
Academy Award winning
Hitchcock.
No. Clearly, that was the influence. That movie influenced all of them.
That is very interesting.
German expressionists and Virgin Orgy at Camp.
German expressionists. But speaking of camp stuff, the hotel block is now open for the Wyndham, and it's gonna book up real quick, guys. So don't be sleeping on this too damn long. Yeah.
I know the vendor tables went quick.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people really liked the Camp Spooky from 2 years ago. I mean, it got really good. Everyone was just like, great times, blah, blah, blah. So I think everyone's going to remember that. And remember, the Wyndham doesn't have, it's as far as the hotels that Spooky goes to, it's usually the smallest of all of them. So don't wait.
What you need to do for the third camp version is find a camp out here somewhere in Orlando and do the show at a camp.
That sounds horrible.
That
so much fun.
That sounds like a horror movie waiting to happen.
I don't like camping.
Well, clamp then. Rent an RV.
The Wyndham is bad enough. Do we need to downgrade? I mean,
that actually makes for an interesting premise, though. So, I mean, aspiring filmmakers, which we will get to, You know, if you have a slasher that's going to a horror convention that's doing a camp theme, who would win? The horror fans, you know, since we already know what they're going to do.
Weed out all the idiots.
We've seen all the movies. We know all the ways. We know where to
Exactly.
And it's Florida. If you get us in a campground, there's going to be a marsh swamp somewhere. The bodies are going to just disappear. It's not fair. It's not fair.
So let's just camp on the side of Lake Jessup, shall we?
That's called Lake Placid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just FYI, if anyone is not familiar, I know not everybody who watches this show is in the Central Florida area. Lake Jessup has the highest number of alligators per lake in the world, because every time a alligator gets caught in another neighborhood or something, they dump it into Lake Jessup. So
always.
Yeah, don't want to fall out of the boat in there.
Yeah. So, so Lake Placid would technically a wilderness horror then too, right?
No, I would put that as park. I put that as rural horror.
Rural horror.
Rural. Like
rural. Yeah.
Like shoot, what's the Florida Jason Long horror movie?
What?
With the scarecrow looking guy.
Oh, Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers, also rural horror. So Lake Placid, it's a rural community. It would also fall in Lake.
Children of the Corn. Is that what you're talking about? Children of the Corn.
Well, that would
also go into my category of rural horror. Look,
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, you have urban horror.
That's rural horror.
Urban horror, suburban horror, rural horror, wilderness horror. I'm gonna make a spreadsheet. You'll see.
Yeah, like Children of the Corn. I like that.
You'll have to make Venn diagrams because they
seriously
crisscross.
Where would you put Dreamcatcher?
Dreamcatcher, it would be a wilderness horror.
I could see that.
Alaskan wilderness, right? I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm just making sure. But yeah, it's
horrible.
Yes, it is. All I remember is Jason Lee having his fingers cut off on the toilet bowl, and then that's literally nothing else. So, speaks to its quality right up there with Virgin.
I've watched it 4 times, and I don't remember any of the 4 times I've seen it. So that tells you everything you need to know.
Pretty much.
Exactly. Well, but that's interesting. The distinction between urban, suburban, wilderness, camp, and then rural. Okay.
Okay. Look, basically like this: urban horror, Freddy or Jason Takes Manhattan. Suburban horror is Halloween. Rural horror is your Children of the Corn, and then the wilderness horror is Cocaine Bear. So,
I like this, Carly. Wyndham horror. I kind of like this. I love the idea of this movie. I think we should do this.
That's right. There's going to be one scene where the killer, knocks somebody off in the cooler at Wawa. That's
I was going to say, body parts get fed to the ducks, obviously. So.
Oh yeah, that's just all kinds of ways. We go into the cooler to get beer, and there's a body.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, somebody wakes up, and the ducks are feasting on another body.
What do you consider Texas Chainsaw?
Oh, rural, completely. The first one definitely rural. Actually, second one too. I don't remember much about the third, to be honest. So
there's not much to remember.
I'm loving this idea, man. This is fantastic.
All right, well, we'll get the spreadsheet going. Feel free to contribute, everybody.
Yeah, this is gonna. Let's say, feel free to in the comments. We'll feature your comment here and whatnot. Yeah, that's fantastic. But yeah, as you know, they're going back to Camp Spooky this year. If you don't remember, 2 years ago they did Camp Spooky at the Wyndham. They had all sorts of what were they? Campfire games, I guess.
We had camping games that they did at camp. We had movie in the pool. We saw Friday the 13th Part 2. Good choice. One of my favorites. Solid choice.
Yeah, they had pillowcase races. They had the best Jason.
Oh, that's right. They also the pillow fight. They had the pillow fight too.
They had the best floaty in the pool.
Thank you.
Mutant hillbilly horror, Carl. That was just Hills Have Eyes. That's all that is.
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes. That's it.
That's desert horror.
Desert horror. The terrain horror.
Desert horror falls in the wilderness category.
But if it's desert, does it really qualify as wilderness, though?
Yes, of course. It's a desert wilderness, but the wilderness is just a place where nobody lives.
Well, then you're bleeding into apocalyptic horror because
exactly.
Yeah,
and then of course the Descent, cave horror. So where does that fall? There's
Well,
nobody.
there's sci-fi horror. Like if you're out in space, what do you consider that? Going back to Jason
camping?
X.
Space.
So
Yeah.
look, it's not a perfect system yet, but I'm working it out.
It's going to be bleed over, of course.
Get that
Look,
down.
folks, this
Get
is
that-
going to be my legacy. Okay, I'm going to get the ultimate population density horror charts.
Oh, this is amazing. Oh
That's
my
my next
God.
panel at Spooky. Join me.
There we go.
But yeah, Camp
Done.
Spooky is back. The camp counselors from the original Spooky Guide are going to be there,
Woohoo!
including your 80s gym shorts, as we all love, because that's some legs. That's some legs. Yep. Mo in those shorts. That boy got some legs.
I have to say, everybody wearing the knee-high socks with the itty-bitty shorts, because it wasn't just us. There were a lot of other people who had that same idea, and I was like, let's do this. Let's bring this. Let's like make this an unofficial uniform for Camp Spooky. Everybody wearing the short shorts.
I know
And
the staff was doing it. Yep. That's going to be. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll actually do a best legs contest. I kind of like that idea.
Oh, there you go.
I like this idea.
Men and women.
And women. No,
I was going to say, I'm going to beat everybody. I have dancer's legs, motherfucker.
Well, I don't know that the mustache that you sport for that kind of may take away a little bit from the leg game you got going on.
Well, you know what? I'll have to start doing a few crunches and little leg exercises. I'll tone up a little bit and I'll make up the difference.
You got 5 months, so
I do.
You got time. You got time. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I remember the staff was getting into it. Even Spooky staff was getting into it. And there were a few of us that actually had whistles out there. That got kind of annoying, but in a fun kind of way. That was fun. But we hope to see you guys in it as well. And someone asked me earlier today, it's like, are you going to do counselors before or after? And I'm like, ooh.
maybe Sunday we could all do after.
After could be fun.
We probably have to do it Saturday. Friday night and then Saturday night, and Saturday night's the dead.
Yeah.
Melanie, the next event, hold on. I just happen to have the guide from
The last
October Spooky. And so May 17th to 19th at the Wyndham will be the May event, Mayhem.
Which, and I'll have you all note, is actually my birthday weekend. My birthday's May 18th, so it will be my 55th birthday. And so, yes, you can buy me shit all weekend. You are allowed. So,
And while we're on the subject, the new Charleston show, August 23rd to 25th. August 23rd is my birthday.
Oh, look at that.
Woohoo.
You know. And then the next October show is early, October 11th to 13th. That's everybody else on the show's birthday.
That's
So
right.
buy them stuff too.
Yes. Exactly.
Fucking July, goddammit.
Well,
There's
we
a
love
reality where
His
what's your birthday?
That counts.
It counts.
Yep.
I've gone in October and said it was my birthday. I don't give a shit. But
Well,
yeah,
there is one other big Spooky Empire announcement.
well, I was just about to say before you so rudely interrupted me. Can't take him anywhere. Swear to God.
I hate it when mom and dad fight.
Right?
Ah,
Oh, Melanie, you need to come back. Yeah, you need to come back. But yeah, so the Blair Witch reunion is happening at Spooky.
Woohoo!
Holy shit, man.
I'm
And
actually
I was-
excited for that.
I am so stoked for that. And I will say straight up, and I'll challenge anybody in the chat, anybody who's watching, I don't give a fuck. If you say you didn't like Blair Witch, either A, you're too young, or B, you're full of shit. Straight up. When a movie is responsible for a whole like genre after, not even sub-genre as Rob likes to do, but genre like found footage, which is still going today, hundreds of movies that have been inspired by the Blair Witch, you cannot deny how incredible this fucking movie is. I love Blair Witch. I'm excited for this. I can't wait
and
to
the
like get my
great thing about it was right at the beginning of the internet, so a lot of people thought it was real, and
Yeah.
they marketed it that way, and it was amazing. So you go to this movie not knowing that, oh, they found this footage and blah 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 blah, and then you find out later that it was a movie, not actually a documentary, and that was really cool for the time in the 90s.
Oh, you know, and something else they did that I mean was really brilliant. I don't know how many of you remember it, but like on network television, they actually had a related documentary about these lost kids.
Mm-hmm. Which was marketing for it, but we didn't know
Their
it.
marketing was phenomenal
Yeah.
Yeah.
for that.
It's the first time anyone had ever
Actually,
done
they
anything
did
like
2
that.
of those, as a matter of fact. The second
they
one
did.
was about the killer. Well, I can't remember his name anymore, but there was a a killer.
Rustin Parr.
Yeah, that the second documentary focused on him, and at that point, people I think that came out after the movie was released, so people kind of got it, but they were at that point they were just into the lore and the whole world building that was being created around this. So it was good. It was real good.
Yeah. Especially those of us that actually grew up either in the Northeast or near woods, because as kids going into the woods, this is exactly what we would imagine would happen. Yeah, fucking fantastic. And I mean, I actually ran a GeoCities website on conspiracy theories on what happened in the Blair Witch. That was me. So y'all can ask for my autograph at the show.
GeoCities, Jesus.
It was actually I volunteered for the Florida Film Festival, and I've been doing that ever since that movie came out. I guess it was 99 or so.
Yeah.
So I've been at Florida Film Festival for years, and my first shift was to stand outside of the Enzian and tell people it was sold out. And
Wow.
because it was a local film, it was a bunch of UCF students who made this.
Yep.
And friends and families and professors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And people would scream at me, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. But at the end of my shift, they actually invited me to come inside to the theater and watch it. So I got to see it with a room full of people who had never seen it before. And at the very end, I was like, I just said, fuck, because it just looked so real, because her reaction was real. They didn't tell her what they were going to do.
Exactly. They gave them basic prompts, but they didn't give them any script. It was all improv. And they fucked with them in the woods. They fucked with them hard.
Yeah. And they all had safe words and so on, but they had a Q&A afterwards with Eduardo, and yeah, you're right. They did. They fucked with them hard. They if you're out in the woods by yourself and you're in a tent, they're not going to tell you what they're going to do. And then they come up and scratch on your tent. You hear all these weird sounds. Yeah. It's going to mess up your mind.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what they do. When you're talking about isolation and things of that, people don't realize psychologically, you can say, oh, I could deal with that, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in the woods without food, with no direction, and you're fucking freezing, that fucks with your mind. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they were hoping for. And it was absolutely fucking amazing. I love Carl's story there. There was a black couple behind us at the end. The guy said, that was bullshit. I had to stop myself from bursting out laughing. Just the reactions of people, fucking iconic. Absolutely iconic.
Yeah.
And then the sequel came out, and it was like,
I love the sequel. It's cheesy, it's terrible, but I love it.
The third one was really good.
Really?
Blair Witch, the Blair Witch, the third one that came out, 6 years ago, was really good.
2015 or 16, something around that.
It was so good.
I will have to educate myself on that. Okay, shit.
You actually get to see the witch.
Oh, I don't want to see the witch. That's one of the things.
You barely see her. But it's her brother goes looking for her, like 10 years later.
Okay.
And he's back in the woods and everything, and they got drones and all. It was really, really well done.
Interesting.
Very, very cool movie.
And that's one of the things.
Ways, found footage, the whole nine.
I love that. Okay, I learned.
Very good.
No, that's fucking awesome. And what I love about movies like this, brain fart, don't get old. Goddamn. Rob, jump in here because I completely forgot what I was about to say. Oh, that's it. Never mind. Got it. I love it when you don't see the creature, and that's one of the things that made horror what it was is when you don't see the creature, because what you imagine in your head is always so much worse than what's hiding under the bed.
And it's different for everybody else. That's the reason why John Carpenter didn't like the remake of Halloween, because Rob Zombie actually gave Michael Myers a reason.
Yep.
And in the original Halloween, there was no reason.
The shape. That's it. Yeah.
And he talked.
Yeah, true.
But it is. I mean, I know all of us are like ridiculously excited. The fact, I mean, is it an anniversary of Blair Witch by chance?
Yeah, 25th. This is the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
But back to what Harriet was saying about, when you fill out these people, they did the same damn thing with all the remakes of Black Christmas. They gave the kid a backstory, the
Billy
molester hiding in the house. I can't remember his name now.
Billy.
Which horrible.
Billy.
So, Billy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Basically, like an incest thing became the whole, plot of the movie. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
So,
Most
It was
were finding
better
when
than-
you had no idea who it was. That was fucking fantastic. But speaking of films, actually, the film festival submissions are opening up next week. And if anyone knows about that, it's Harriet.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, submit your films.
Surprise.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah. I do want to say this. I think he's the director or something. He directed the 2022 Spooky Empire commercial for the film festival, and it was called The Spooky Imitation.
Ooh.
He won an award. It's an Emmy. It's a Suncoast Emmy Award for that commercial. For
Oh
this-
shit.
Yeah, and it's the second Emmy, but I think the first one was for producing, but this one was actually for directing. So and this was back in December, so it's a little over a month. It was like December 5th, and they on the Spooky Empire Film Festival page, it's posted there, and that's where I found out about it. So I think it was named Brendan Jackson Rogers. So congratulations and a shout out to him. But round of applause. Yeah, definitely send in if you're a filmmaker or know a filmmaker or are in a film with a filmmaker. Please let them know about the film festival, because last October the film list was epic, and they had it was all in different categories. They had all kinds of different horror. They had family friendly. They had occult. They had gory stuff. They had what the fuck category. So
That's always my favorite
mad I missed
category,
that on
but-
the movies. Ugh.
Yeah.
I did not plan my spooky well at all. I fucked up.
Well, that's just the whole thing. There was so much to do in October, and I'm not sure if they're bringing it to May, but even if you get to see just a couple of short films, I really want everybody to, pop in and see a couple or at least one block, because they are really busting their ass, and whoever's doing the Facebook page is really doing it well, because I saw the submission thing, and then I reposted, and I was like, I've got to support this so much, because this is what we all do. We watch horror films.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you that like things like, Terrifier and even Blair Witch, these are all projects that started with these small time, producers and whatnot. And like, you want to talk about supporting the horror community, that's literally how you do it.
Yep. And they came from, they were all over the country. They were even some from, all over the world. They had some international entries. So, and, I got to talk with a couple of the filmmakers, but again, because everybody was so busy in October, I just, didn't get as much in as I wanted to.
Yeah. We were all running rabid. Yeah.
We were,
We
but
really were.
yeah, wholeheartedly support it and come out and see them and talk it up, because I love that it's an additional thing. I love that it's become bigger in the years.
It does. It gets bigger every year.
Yeah. So support your local indie filmmaker.
And, like I said, we've already given you guys God knows how many different ideas. You just watch the show, even a couple episodes, we give you a plethora of ideas. So just saying.
Yeah.
Hi. All right. That having been said, like I said, so everybody here is excited about Blair Witch Project, and that's just like a really big one out of the gate, which I was curious, since they said Camp Spooky. I'm like, were they going to keep it more of a, just a fan kind of thing this year? But no, they brought in Blair Witch. So, and those are the big guns right out the gate. So I'm excited for what they got going, man. Woo. Yeah. Woo indeed. All right. Now, Rob, you're going to have to go into this a little bit more, this holiday Matsuri thing. Hold on. Well, we talk about spooky all the time, but we do also talk about other Florida conventions, because, if you have one, you got to talk about them all. So, please.
Yeah, and so there's a little bit of overlap. There are people who go to Spooky who go to this, and it's just interesting. So if you're not familiar with Holiday Matsuri, it's kind of like an anime convention that they hold in December. And what makes it interesting is they've always had like literally it's a holiday theme on top of, their anime or whatever else. So people will actually take whatever cosplay they have and then make it Christmassy on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got an interesting vibe to it, something that you don't see at other shows. There's also been a weird history of this show where I think one of either the money or one of the organizers has been accused of unwanted advances. I think I'll just leave it as light as that, since I don't remember all of the details. But he's been accused of not being not behaving as a gentleman would. And that, they said they removed him at one point, but there's always been this kind of weird vibe around that show that they've never been able to shake. And I don't know exactly all the truth of it, but this year something just took on a life of its own, and it's difficult to tell whether it's even true or not. But the gist of it is people have said that someone was going around putting roofies in the water, in the water that they have, set up for people to drink. And then they said, ambulances were showing up. They've accused, like one of the, I guess there's like one of the bigger cosplay guests, I think, was accused of something. And it just gets crazier from there. And the story goes so wild. They say it's like, well, they were dropping roofies in the pool and people were getting fucked up on the pool water when they drank it. That's actual quotes that I have seen off of people's Instagram. And I heard our son is 17. He's got friends in this age bracket that really are the backbone of this show, and
the new generation.
Yeah, and so I'll say this: the owners of the show or the promoters have said, "Well, look, we take it seriously. No reports have officially been filed, so as far as we know, these are just unsubstantiated rumors." And man, if you go to any of their socials, shit has blown up. People are weeks later, they're still throwing all these accusations, and supposedly they're being made by some people who, they're from other states. They couldn't have possibly been there. So it's just interesting that, if something happened, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but wow, is it going nuts? And when it's bad, it's like, what do you do? Can you even fight it when the rumors become so big that no one can tell if it's true or not?
And that unfortunately is the issue, and one of the reasons this was brought up, because it was a couple of years ago that rumors started going around about Spooky and things happening at Spooky. And unfortunately, this is what people do now. And it's sad. And, and I think the best way to look at this is just how everyone has handled the whole aliens at the Miami Mall. I'm sure y'all have heard all about this, right? Yeah. So apparently like hundreds of cop cars at Bayside in Miami, because apparently there were 10-foot aliens walking around the mall. I think we should address this, or any con should address these sorts of things in the same way. If this is happening with everybody has one of these in their hand at all times, nobody's got video. Nobody's got photos. There is, like there's the receipts, as the kids say these days. If nobody's got actual proven receipts, laugh about it and move on. And exactly. Matt just nailed it. But I mean, it's fun for those on the outside just to have popcorn and read the drama, because drama is great as long as you're not involved. We all know that. But when it comes down to actually hurting businesses and livelihood and such, everyone's looking for an excuse these days. And because all these conventions are all in competition, and this one hates that one, and that one's jealous of this one, blah, blah, blah. Until people actually have actual receipts, actual proof, laugh about it and then move on to the next subreddit.
Well, it's unfortunate because with the social media and with our phones, we are all able to see anybody's and everybody's comments. And we all love to comment on this or that or speculate on this and that when it's really none of our business. And, if somebody had an incident or had a medical issue, whatever it may be, it needs to stay with those people. But it's, the internet is the worst Russian grandma, because it just,
I love that.
They just gossip. And it just, it grows into a 40-foot tale that isn't true and doesn't exist. And everybody's afraid of. And it really gets out of hand. And
my friend said his friend, if it was cousin, and yeah.
Right. And we play the worst game of telephone, and it's unfortunate because I had no idea what Holiday Matsuri was. I'm not into anime. It's not my thing, but it is a huge niche in our subculture of conventions and pop culture. And it's unfortunate that happened, whatever happened, but it did, and it's horrible. I don't want to say that it didn't affect me, so I don't care, but it didn't affect me directly, but I do care.
Yeah.
but I don't want to speculate about, if it's somebody involved with the show or blah, 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 blah. Because there were other people who said, I didn't know about it, or I heard one or two incidents, but I still had a great time and I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
That's what I say. That's what normally, those are the people that you need to emulate.
Right.
It's like the same drama at Spooky or whatever we've been dealing with for the past couple of years. It's all horse shit.
Yeah.
Move on. Fuck off. Have a nice day. Until you got proof of any of that.
Well, it's proof number one. But on top of that, did you have a good experience at the show? Regardless of Holiday Matsuri, MegaCon, whatever. If you have a good time, don't let anybody impede on that.
Right.
Yeah. Your experience should be yours, So,
it's human nature to be curious, and we all want to know what happened, but you also don't want to let it affect your good time, and you don't want to perpetrate the lie.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Spread rumors, keep things going, and it's shut up and move on.
A lot of people want to further these rumors to keep the spotlight on them for, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole I could go down. But it's like, think about the person's livelihood of which you are speaking. And a lot of people don't tend to see outside of themselves. Think about if what you're saying isn't 100% true with receipts, think of how you could hurt.
Yeah. The people who run the show, the people who work at the show, the hotel that it was at, the area, the neighborhood that it's in. Yeah. It's damaging.
Uh-oh. Daddy's doing this bit again. And the people who died were not the people at Matsuri that drank spiked water from the pool. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. So that, and I'm sure y'all agree with us. Hey, why can't we just all get along? Let's all just pull a Rodney King, so to speak.
Never happened. Unfortunately.
Never happened. Okay.
There's a whole generation of people that don't understand that reference.
I know. That's why I put Google it.
Nothing but selfish.
Ain't that the fucking truth? But so okay, this is where we get to the In Memoriam part, which is Rob's bread and butter because he loves going on about people who died.
That's true. So with that, so it's a new year, and before we move on, we want to go ahead and pay tribute to a lot of the wonderful horror entertainers and creators from 2023. So, we're just going to go ahead and make this day all about them.
I need a better copy of that.
Great song.
I love that song.
It's a great song. It's classic.
It's great.
Anyway, so I put together a list of, again, these are a lot of names that they'll fall into four categories in most parts. There will be the people who you go, of course, obviously we have to pay tribute to them. They left a huge mark. Other people who you will go
somewhat dead.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bit dead.
And there will be the people who you go, oh yeah, I forgot about them. Oh, I love that person. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. And then there'll be the category of, I was kind of familiar, but I didn't actually know the name. That's nice. And then there's the, who the fuck are these people, Rob? Why put them on the list? And I'll just say this to you. If you want to make the list next year, go right ahead. In the meantime, I'm going to miss a few people. It's going to happen. A lot of people died this year. So
yeah,
more people will die this year.
Yeah, exactly. 2023 or 4. Somebody famous actually died today. Trixie from the Honeymooners. She was the last of the original Honeymooners cast. She died today.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody was alive? I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we're going to begin.
Who dat?
Anyone remove? So a couple years ago, the big Oscar darling was Parasite. Yes, and this is Lee Sun-kyun. He was in Parasite, big part of that movie. Also had a few other.
I see that still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. Well, we won't see him in the sequel. Not there's going to be.
It's on my list.
Anyway, he also had a few other Korean horror movies, thrillers under his belt. If you're a fan of the genre, you might have known of Sleep or Helpless, but He's gone. Also, we're also, just as a note, we're doing this in reverse. So we're going to start with the people who just died in December and then move our way back to the beginning of 2023. So, if things aren't all 100%, but it's close. So Lee Sun Kyun, we hardly knew you. Because,
literally.
Yeah. All right. This is James McAfee. You probably don't know him.
Nope.
James did a lot of low-budget horror movies. A Cry from Within, The Orphan Killer. He's got a lot of those kind of credits. A working actor who just, got whatever he could do. But he also did a lot of voice acting. If anyone played the Max Payne video game series, he was the main character there. He was in Alan Wake 2. He was in Control. So he's one of those guys you probably wouldn't recognize him, but you might have recognized his voice.
You're not playing the voice then, huh?
What was that?
You're not playing the voice, are you?
Yeah, I don't have it. So, it's very distinct.
You're recognized by the voice.
Well, you know what?
Just pull up Max Payne and have fun.
There you go.
That was a great game.
There you go. All three. Yep. This is Camden Toy. Now, he and Doug Jones were really tight because they basically did the same thing. They were monster actors. You never really saw his face. He was always under a mask, but he had a lot of really memorable roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and an Angel, like a bunch of other movies. Again, if there's so many pictures of him and Doug. He's actually also a really big regular on the whole convention circuit. A lot of people knew him. He was very popular. Here's the interesting thing about him. I don't know how many of you remember the video for King Nothing by Metallica. It's basically them. They're basically just jamming in the wilderness. It's like 3 feet of snow. They're in the middle of Alaskan wilderness. This is the guy who actually played King Nothing in that video, who picks up the crown. So
Where's your crown?
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, he makes the list. This is Miss Shirley Broomfield of England. Did a lot of English horror. So, you may not have, if you've seen the list of her credits, Horrors of the Black Museum, House of the Living Dead, which actually was not a zombie movie. But I think the most notable of her credits was in Peeping Tom. For those of you who don't necessarily know Peeping Tom, it was actually one of the most controversial movies of its time. And because it wasn't a gory movie. In fact, there's very little blood, but it took on subjects of voyeurism and stuff like that, and it hit too close to home for a lot of people. So Britain actually banned the film completely, and it was undiscovered for years and years, up until Martin Scorsese started talking about how much he liked it, and then it took new life. But she was a part of that. Now, this is the first name that I think most people are going to recognize. It's Shaft.
Yeah.
Richard Roundtree. This is actually a guy I always wanted Spooky to get.
Yeah.
I was every year when we used to, what guests would you like to have? I'm like, I just go through my blaxploitation actors and Richard Roundtree, give me Shaft. Don't give me Shaft. Let's just strike that. That's really bad phrasing. But in addition, he had a couple good horror movies to his credit. He was in Seven.
Yeah, I remember him in that actually.
He was in the classic Maniac Cop.
That's a Boris on that.
Yeah, and then when during the disaster movie cycle, when we had Airport 75 and the Poseidon Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was in Earthquake. So
I don't think
good.
I saw that one.
Yeah, I don't think it was one of the good. I mean, really, none of them were all that good, to be perfectly honest. But
Universal had a ride about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Big enough.
All right, next on our list. And again, anyone in the chat, if there's somebody here you love and know, please by all means throw in.
I guarantee Carl knows a lot of them.
Yeah,
the main gentleman. Yeah,
Paulie.
That's right, Paulie. We have Burt Young. Burt Burt Young, it's definitely best known for Rocky, but he was
I
also
thought he
one of
died a
those.
long time ago too.
I did too. I did
When,
too.
when they announced it, I was like, "Oh shit, he was still alive."
It feels bad when you say that, but yeah, that really was the case with this guy. A working actor. This guy showed up. He always played kind of like a thug, heavy. We all remember him probably in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Of course. Yeah, Back to School. There we go. See, Carl
His
knows.
first movie was a horror movie. It was called Carnival of Blood, and it was basically kind of like a 70s freak show horror movie. He played
Mhm.
Gimpy. His character's name was
yeah.
Gimpy.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
And yeah, it's funny because the movie was terrible, but years later they re-released it, and he was a notable character, but he wasn't the main character. But they billed him as the star because he was the only one who ever
Yeah, I
got
was like,
any
he
kind
was
of
the
name
only
recognition.
name that anyone would recognize. Yeah.
But let me see. He had a couple other movies. He had Carnival of Blood. He was in Amityville 2.
Oh shit, that's right. Forgot about that. Oh, I love Amityville too. I'm a big fan of Amityville too.
Okay. He was in a movie called Blood Beach that was basically kind of like a response to Jaws. They're like, it's you're worried about it being safe to or not safe to go in the water. It's not even safe to get to the water. And it was something like worms getting you in the beach or something like that.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised Matt hasn't seen that one. It seems like a movie he would have seen.
Sand sharks.
Sand sharks.
It's a movie. I've watched
like
it.
It is
Sand sharks. That's funny.
ice sharks, Sharkula. There's all kinds of shark movies.
Absolutely. All right.
So shark horror. So where does shark horror fall into like wilderness horror, urban horror?
Ocean
It
horror.
depends. Are they on open
Ocean
water
horror,
or are they on the
okay.
beach?
Beach horror.
If they're
Ocean,
so
lake.
so Jaws, it was a suburban horror because the town was somewhat popular.
Island horror.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
All right. Not to get off topic.
That's gonna be going on for a long time now.
Oh, I missed somebody. I missed a picture. Oh dear. All right. Do you guys know who this is?
No, but she's pretty.
It's Piper Laurie.
Oh,
Oh my god.
That was young Piper Laurie. Just to go
Wow.
back one more time.
wow.
It's when I was doing all the research I was pulling, I was shocked. I mean, I know Hollywood glam was a thing, 20 years earlier, but
Mhm.
I kind of got knocked over just like, whoa, that was Piper Laurie.
Yeah,
Well, because we know her as, such a freak show as Carrie's mom.
exactly. Which was my adoptive mother. That literally was my adoptive mother growing up. That Bible thumping nut. Yeah. So I relate to Carrie.
Man.
Yes.
Oh shoot, I missed a picture then. That's unfortunate. I am going to bring up. Hold
I
on.
was gonna say I miss Piper Laurie because I was hoping she would come to Spooky at some point, and
We all
I
were.
really wanted to meet her.
All right, hold on.
She's on my Betsy Palmer list now.
Yeah, real quick, share your own.
Okay,
Piper
yes,
Laurie
I
story
will.
for just a moment while I
Go ahead, Harriet.
This is kind of unrelated. Looking at some of these pictures, it kind of takes me back to like 70s horror. And
My sweet spot. Yeah.
yeah. And so we were watching movies today, and I saw Death Wish was streaming on one of the channels, and I
Oh wow.
like the original 1974 Death Wish, and I was like, okay,
Charlie
well, let me
Bronson.
watch with Charles Bronson.
Mhm.
Yeah. We were watching it, and the first 5 minutes, Jeff Goldblum shows up as one of the rapists / bad guys.
I love those moments.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I don't even know if he was credited or something or whatever, but we were still in the process of watching it. I haven't finished it yet.
Sure.
But I was like, I didn't realize there was like 4 or 5 sequels to Death Wish.
And then they did a remake with Bruce Willis.
So
Oh, shit.
I'm kind of in 70s,
I
like
think it was
that,
Bruce Willis.
those grimy cities, 70s like horror and action and police flicks like right now. I'm trying to watch as many as I can because I'm just kind of in that groove. So
Oh, see, Carl knows. Man, that's amazing, Carl. That's
All right,
fantastic.
So this was the next person on the list that hopefully it loaded quickly enough. No, it did not. Son of a bitch. All right, hold on. I'm just going to share her picture for a second while I
Okay, but yeah,
because
Piper. Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say Piper Laurie. She was on the list of someone I wanted to meet at Spooky, just like Betsy Palmer. If there's someone you want to meet, don't wait until they come back around again. Because Betsy Palmer, I wanted so badly, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna put it off. I'm gonna put it off, and then unfortunately she passed away.
Right.
And Piper Laurie was another one that I wanted to meet, and I was like, oh, I'll get to it. No, I won't.
all right. This was another face. Demi, you might remember her. This is Laura Parker. She was Angelique on Dark Shadows.
That's right. Yeah, I was like, she looks really familiar. Yeah, because I actually have her on my album downstairs. Because I actually have the vinyl of the Dark Shadows theme. So yes.
Yeah, and she, like I said, she did Angelique on Dark Shadows. She was
right.
pretty much there for the run of the show. She wasn't an everyday character, but she was there for most episodes.
Yes, and she was very, very iconic, and she was one of those that any scene she was in, she would steal the scene.
And this is what I thought was really interesting, though. Long after the show was over, she was actually writing Dark Shadow novels.
I believe it.
She basically kept going and kind of carried it on for a while.
Yeah, carried the torch.
Yeah.
No, and Carl, you're not wrong. My dad says she was the most beautiful woman on TV. Yeah, no, she really just, anytime she was in a scene, she commanded all the attention. Even when I was a little kid, I recognized that. Fantastic, gorgeous woman. It was really sad to hear of her passing.
All right, so this is not someone you're going to know. This is Anthony Hickox. His job was he was a director in Hollywood, and his job was to pretty much take over a franchise after no one wanted anything else to do with it. Hellraiser 3, I think, is his best example.
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Awesome.
He did, I think it was the third Warlock movie, Warlock Armageddon.
Oh dear God. Oh, okay. I got it. I get your point.
Yeah, but and so he did He directed Waxworks. I think that was like his own. If anyone remembers Waxworks,
I remember.
I was going through the credits, and this one killed me. It was a movie called Full Eclipse. It was about cops who turn into werewolves. So
it's an interesting premise.
It's it takes all kinds. It's not everybody's a household name, but you know what? They all work. They all do their thing. God bless.
And they all have their hand in it, and it's like you've probably seen something that they have had their hands on. So
exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Treat Williams.
Yeah.
Oh. He was in a movie called Smooth Talk with Laura Dern, and he was so fucking creepy.
That's interesting. I didn't see him as creepy.
But it was good. It was a really good movie, but he was just really, really creepy because it was kind of a coming of age movie. And he was like this really creepy guy that was like scamming on Laura Dern.
Poor Laura Dern.
The Phantom. He was the Phantom?
He was in the Phantom.
Oh, the Phantom.
Billy Zane was the Phantom.
Yeah, Billy Zane was the Phantom.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, the Phantom? No, he wasn't.
Yeah, but no, Treat was in the Joe Piscopo classic Dead Heat, where they turn all the gangsters or whatever into zombies for a day.
Yep, I remember that. Good stuff.
Also in Deep Rising. So yeah, that's.
And he was in Hair.
Yes, he was. Well, fine. You want to talk about his respectable movies? God.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right. So.
Oh man.
This is one of gentlemen. If you're a Harry Potter fan, if this is a Dumbledore. If you know Harry Potter, but he was basically a British Shakespearean actor. Did a ton of big stuff. It's a theater performer, but he also did Mary Riley. Okay. He did the Omen remake, and I think the thing that I kind of knew him the most from was Sleepy Hollow. He was Baltus Van Tassel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did some.
He was up there with like Ian McKellen and all those guys.
Yeah, exactly. He came up right with all them in that same group.
He did some small obscure horror movies too, because I've watched some like that I've had. When you get those 100 movie packages, and he'll show up like, oh, Michael Gambon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
He's that
So,
guy.
and a real interesting guy too. This was like his bios when I was putting these together. Like he just had a fascinating career. So
He was
Yeah,
a
and
great
as Carl
Dumbledore.
said, Doctor Who. Yep.
this is Bray Wyatt. We talked about him when he passed. This was he's a pro wrestler. Kind of was taking the Undertaker's mantle of the of just that supernatural horror kind of wrestler. And he had a lot of real interesting, variations of his character. He was kind of like a swamp people cult leader.
I can see that.
This is like a deranged children's host right here, or children's TV host. He had a thing where he's called The Fiend, where he had a mask on that was actually made by Tom Savini. Yeah, so he had his niche, and apparently he got COVID, and then was one of those people who just never really recovered from it. He's only 36.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that was a big. He and Terry Funk died like the same, like within days of one another. Terry Funk, another old time wrestler. Every old school people all know Terry Funk.
Yeah, I remember.
Also, they may have seen him in Roadhouse, but that's we were not. Terry didn't have a horror credit. I thought I'd mention him, but he didn't have anything to show.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I was saying this earlier, but I mean, they are notable just because Spooky does have a lot of crossover with wrestling fans. They've had a number of wrestlers at their shows, so
absolutely
it deserves a nod.
Yep.
Here we have William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist.
Yes. Yeah.
He before The Exorcist, he directed The French Connection. That was also another 70s classic. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of interesting. He never really has a big iconic movie ever again.
Oh shit! I mean, how do you follow up The fucking Exorcist?
You really don't. Although no one ever expected that to be the hit it was. And he had a couple. He did the erotic thriller Jade. Anyone with Linda Fiorentino, I believe. Or no, was it? I think it was her. But that was supposed to be David Caruso's breakout into the world of film, and it didn't work, and he went back to TV. So
yeah,
he also did a movie called Bug, if anyone remembers that.
Nope.
Kind of a body horror with bugs. It was yucky.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Shannon Farrell. She was just another one of those working actresses. Did every TV show that was ever on TV that required special guests back in the 70s and 80s. You'd have that person that just jumped from show to show, week to week.
Love Boat, Threes. Yeah.
Exactly. But she was in Night of the Comet.
Mm-hmm.
It's Alive, The Premonition. It's Alive is kind of like a Rosemary's Baby knockoff.
Yeah.
Premonition, which I think might have been something like The Exorcist. I can't remember. Bunch of, just kind of horror knockoff. She wasn't in the original. She was in the movies that were always inspired by the big hits. The one cool thing I wanted to mention about her, though, is because I had forgotten this was a thing. She did an episode of Freddy's Nightmares when they gave, Freddy Krueger an anthology horror series that he would host.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
And so, no one talks about that show anymore, though. It's like there's
no reason.
It was better than the Friday the 13th series.
Oh, that's.
Well, anyway, she got to do an episode of that. Yeah, so here's to Sharon Farrell.
Oh,
dude.
Paul Rubens, I think this one hit a lot of every Gen Xer got hit by this.
Oh, this was Gen X, just stab right in the heart. I mean, and let's face it, the best, hands down, online screen death ever. Ever.
That's right.
Ever. I guess when I was lucky enough to meet Rutger Hauer like forever ago before he passed, unfortunately, that's what we talked about. I was just like, my God, how many days did it take for you he's like, we never stopped laughing. They had to be creative with the camera because they could not stop laughing. And he would improvise a different thing, improvised at least 75 different ways to do it. And oh man.
Pee-wee's Christmas special every year.
With Little Richard and Cher.
Yep.
Yeah. I just recently saw a TikTok where he had Charo on, And it's like Charo singing some Feliz Navidad. I'm like, that's the most Gen X thing I've ever seen in my life.
So a couple other, like I said, everyone knows him from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, obviously, and all the Pee-wee stuff. You remember him from Buffy.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in David Arquette's The Tripper.
Oh yeah.
David Arquette, showed that at Spooky.
One of the greatest superhero movies of all time, Mystery Men.
There's a Mystery
Oh
Men.
yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
was the spleen.
Yep.
He was in Blow with Johnny Depp, man. It's like, yeah.
And I didn't, this is one of those things I didn't know until I did the research, which I probably should have known. I'm not a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan, but he was one of the Lock, Stock, and Barrel. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Devil Kid.
Yes.
So right,
it was him, Catherine O'Hara, and help me out. Because it was him, Catherine O'Hara.
Danny Elfman was the third voice.
Danny Elfman. Because they actually did a reading. There was a convention where they all three were on stage doing the readings. And it's
singing the song. Yeah.
Yeah, singing the song. Yes.
That's cool. All right. So Pee-wee, we will miss you.
Yeah, you're gonna be missed. Jesus. That one hurt. That
hurts you even further.
Just slice
Julian Sands.
Dude.
Did they ever find his remains?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did.
They did find him.
About 5 months later, but they did find it.
Yeah. And we all knew by that point. I mean, I don't even know how any of us held that cope that long, and he was at Spooky, and he was a darling to everyone that he met, man.
Yep.
Just sweetest fucking guy. I could sit and talk stories about Julian all goddamn night, but.
Yeah. So, Julian boxing Helena, Warlock, all sorts of good stuff.
He actually did a great werewolf film. Is it something Romasanto? I can't remember what it was, but actually it was a really cool, like colonial done werewolf film. Yeah, something Romasanto, but really, really good.
One interesting credit. It was a TV show that didn't take off. I can't even remember the name of it, but basically, network television, I think CBS tried to do their own Blackbeard TV show, and it was starring John Malkovich as Blackbeard.
No.
Which, of course, he had to have Julian Sands because the two of them were like this.
And yeah, Julian played like a really mean, nasty, like British captain who got off torturing people, and then John Malkovich was just there to chew the scenery in every line and second.
I can't even imagine him being a pirate. That's just
he was not a convincing pirate. It wasn't a great show. I watched the first episode just because of like all the talent that was involved. Like, Julian Sands is here, John Malkovich is here, a couple other big actors, and I just remember watching it going, should have saved it for HBO. It's just not going to work on network TV.
I will tell you a fun fact that he actually told me. When he would check into hotels, he obviously wouldn't check in under his own name. He would check in under John Malkovich. That cracked me the fuck up. I'm like, that's absolutely brilliant.
All right.
But no, he's actually done a number of horror movies, and a lot of them were just like Hulu specials or just direct to video. But he's actually pretty big, and Arachnophobia, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, that was a piece of work. All right.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm gonna miss him. I still can't watch any of his movies. I started watching Leaving Las Vegas a couple months ago, and I got 10 minutes in. And I'm like, I can't do it.
That's just a tough movie to watch anyway.
It is.
Under the best of circumstances.
Yeah.
That is a tough movie to watch.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Now, Harry Belafonte. Switching gears.
He's the kind of the person that you always put on the celebrity death pool list, only because he is so old.
He was 95.
Exactly. Because you figure that's just low hanging fruit.
95. Obviously singer, huge activist. If you look at his activism, credits, the guy was really one of the first black actors to push for civil rights and kind of pushed other black, entertainers to do the same.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised if he, at the end of Beetlejuice 2, there is a special little card that comes up just for him.
Yeah. So, and that's ultimately why he's on this list. The Banana Boat song, Deo. I mean, is Beetlejuice iconic. yeah, that song in Beetlejuice. You cannot hear that first note without thinking Beetlejuice. I don't care who you are.
Yep.
He also had kind of a horror movie, though. Not a horror movie, but more like a apocalyptic movie called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil. It was, ultimately with, racial themes. But it was interesting. It wasn't great, but it was a nice attempt. But yeah, Deo is why he's on the list. So.
Oh yeah.
Robert Blake.
Rotten hell.
Such a nice guy.
The guy probably killed his wife. In all likelihood, killed his wife. But he was also a great actor.
Dude, Lost Highway.
Love to hate him.
Yeah. No, if you saw the Lost Highway, he was incredible.
Yeah.
And and again, one of those working actors, just always popped up in TV, and so did everything. A lot of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. A lot of people don't know it. He was actually one of the Little Rascals.
Mm-hmm.
There was an original set, and then as they all kind of grew older, they were bringing in younger
the new
ones.
generation. They kind of did a Menudo thing with them.
Yeah, exactly. They're treating it like Menudo. And I think his name was Butch on the Little Rascals. I can't remember. He was actually one of the Little Rascal bad guys. He was there was a bully who had two little toadies, and he was one of the toadies. So, other interesting thing, he apparently was a regular on the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, and he liked bringing him on because he would always just say outrageous shit because he Hollywood's fucking me over, and he wouldn't swear on TV, but he was a loose enough cannon that he was always really entertaining on the show. So Johnny was always bring him on. He's gonna say something. He's gonna do something. Bring him on.
I love how Carl's in the chat, just going on with the IMDb credits, just bam, 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 bam.
No, you know what? I mean, that's the actor Robert Blake was, though. He's showed up in everything for a while. And then Lost Highway was the last movie. For some reason, no one wanted to hire him afterwards.
I wonder why. Seems like such a nice guy to work with.
All right, so this is a name you might not know, Annie Wershing. She was only in her early 40s, regular on the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
So the younger folks might know who she is.
I got nothing.
Also, she was the Borg Queen on the Star Trek Picard series. Which creepy and hoary looking right there. So that's something to
creepy
her
and hoary. Did you just say creepy?
Hoary.
I said creepy and hoary. Okay.
A little bit. I mean, there's some latex going on there, and some, She also was in the original Last of Us game, which now is the huge series on HBO. In the game, she played Tess, the first Joel's kind of partner who dies in the first hour, first episode, whatever you want to call her. But she was originally the voice actress and the character model for the character of the game.
Yeah, I got nothing.
So yeah, we're winding now. Well, you might not have nothing for her, but you'll have something for the next guest or for the next departed. Tom Sizemore.
Ah, Tom. Spooky Empire fucking icon, Tom.
That Q&A will be forever priceless.
Dude, one of the top 3 Q&As ever at Spooky ever.
Is that whole thing on somewhere on YouTube? I need to watch that because I was missing.
I hope so.
I need to watch that.
James has said that it is so, and she was the MC for it. So I'm pretty sure if you look for it.
You know what? I'll tell you what, man. It's now that he's passed, everything that we said allegedly about before, we don't think the estate of Tom Sizemore is going to come after us. So he had a lot of late night visitors of the female persuasion. That
hookers.
Yeah,
they weren't just female visitors.
I was being polite, I don't assume. Maybe they were coming to read some Bible together. I don't fucking know. But no, super fucking nice guy regardless. I mean, that Tom Sizemore is the absolute embodiment of does not give one iota of a shadow of a fuck.
Exactly. And that's one of the, it's kind of unfortunate that his life took that turn, but he was real and he was so freaking honest.
Yep.
I mean, he just said, whatever was on his mind. I was like, oh my, I can't believe he said that.
The fact that he's like, I'm better looking than Al Pacino. I can get better girls than Robert De Niro. I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
That's just, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
And I had told the story about Juliette Lewis breaking his nose while they were, filming the movie, which was like, oh, that's good.
Which I kind of feel like I have to ask Juliette Lewis about now. Because now I'm curious. I don't know if she's going to be nice about it or not, but whatever. But and according to one of our other, and we'll let him speak for himself, one of our other co-hosts actually had a room next to him and heard him crying a lot. So make of that what you will.
With his lady friend guests. Okay, anyway.
Yes. Everybody's got a thing. Whatever.
So winding down, we got two last ones. This last one is also a Spooky Empire former guest. Oh, damn it. She didn't make it here either. God damn it. This didn't update correct. All right, so I'll add her again in just a minute. But this is Earl Bone.
Yep.
You know him because you've seen him in every goddamn
thing. He's that guy.
He was that guy. And he's just a funny story because, he was in
Terminator
all
2.
the Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3.
Yeah, he's the doctor.
After he did the Terminator, he's like, I could take this character and do it in pretty much anything because they always need a guy like this. And he literally played the same character in every single
paycheck. Good on you, man.
Yeah. And it's funny. What's even funnier is when you look down his IMDb, he is either a doctor or a reverend. And it's like just reverend this, reverend this, reverend this, doctor. It's okay.
Yeah, doesn't care about being typecast.
Well, he you know what? He took typecasting and ran with it and made a very good living for it.
Yeah.
Good on him, man. Jeez.
And then hold on, let me get the last one queued up since my spreadsheet.
And then after that, I don't know if we have a game planned or not, but we do have we're going to talk about the horror movies that are actually coming up this year and the ones that we are most excited for.
All right, so just to show this last one off, Lisa Loring.
Ah, yes.
Wednesday Addams, the original Wednesday Addams.
God, she was at Spooky like eons ago.
Yeah, like 2006, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Before 2010, I remember that much because we had friends who have since moved away that still got a chance to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was a bad day, but when I met her, she was a bit of a bitch.
Mm.
I'm sorry, she's dead. I can say it now. Fuck her.
Good enough. Oh, by the way, Carl, that was actually, I believe that screenshot of him was not Art Bunker's living room, but I think that was from an episode of Soap.
Well, I was going to say, any 70s living room is exactly what that looked like. That could have been any 70s living room.
But yeah, so we end with Lisa Loring, Wednesday Addams.
It would have been nice to see a cameo of like anything Christina Ricci had done or Jenna Ortega, a cameo from Lisa Loring, but whatever. She was a bitch, so who cares? All right. But if you actually have the graphic there, Rob, of the horror movies that are coming up this year.
Yep. Hold on. Let me.
There's like a lot of stuff. It's like something every month.
Literally, yeah.
Everything had to be put on a back burner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff will be, especially because of the strike, now things are actually coming out. I don't know how many of these are actually mainstream as opposed to small budget.
These are all pretty mainstream movies.
Well, I mean, Night Swim. I don't know what the fuck Night Swim is.
It's been in the theaters for a week and a half now, or 2 weeks.
I have no idea what it is.
It's a PG-13 movie, a horror movie, and it's being received accordingly. It's a first horror movie for kids.
Ah, okay. Well, that's why.
Yeah.
All right, and then of course we have Baghead, which again I don't know anything about. Lisa Frankenstein. Then we've got, oh Jesus, I can't see either. Winnie the Pooh too. Yes,
Yeah,
because
I can go through this if you want. I've got
Love
it.
it.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
just Winnie the Pooh too, because obviously the first one got so much critical acclaim, it needed a sequel, right? We
Well,
didn't say
no,
anything-
Tigger is now public domain, so they need to put him in.
so no-
That's why they're doing a second.
That hurt because Tigger was one of my favorites. And
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I don't
okay.
need
Well,
to
this
see
is what you have
Horror
to remember. The first movie cost, all the popcorn fart.
Right.
Yeah.
This is going to cost 3 popcorn farts, but that, it made, 10, $20 million probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this will do the same. And so why would you not make it if, popcorn farts don't cost much?
No,
I
can
wouldn't
make
know.
one right now.
Yeah. That's our specialty item, folks. Right on our merch page.
All right. So then I don't know what imaginary is. Anyone?
Nope.
No. Then the new Ghostbusters.
I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where they're going to take this one.
But the last one was received, very well. Everyone.
Yeah,
seemed
well,
to-
and partially Harold Ramos, let's be honest.
Great
So,
tribute.
Yeah.
Uh,
The first Omen, which did we need another Omen, really?
it's really
Well,
just
it's
to
like The Strangers, the third movie.
Yeah.
Would we need another one?
it's really just to introduce the current generation to an old franchise.
Right.
You could just put in the 76 one and absolutely a great movie. Just saying.
Yeah.
It holds up.
That's
well,
really-
it's not like they haven't already tried to remake it to, a thundering.
yeah, that 2006 one
Thundering
was
Thud.
absolutely dog shit.
It was garbage.
Yeah, I mean, no one liked that one. So what are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
And then of course we have Godzilla versus Godzilla and
Hell
Kong.
yeah.
I gotta say, and Godzilla -1 had to be like the best movie of last year. So
So I
my
haven't seen it.
expectations are pretty fucking high for this.
I don't know.
No,
Are you
don't-
caught up on Monarch?
They should not. First of all, your expectations should be shit for this because you saw how bad Godzilla versus Kong was. This
That's
is the
fair.
same
That's
universe. It's the same people.
Well, I guess
That
I,
was
really,
horrible.
I just didn't like Kong.
What
I
else
never
was?
liked Kong.
Yeah, but there was nothing good in that movie. This will be the same. So, I mean, yeah, there was like 2 of the fights were good. Mechagodzilla was a goddamn waste.
Yeah, that was the biggest
I agree.
disappointment. Yeah.
So I have
Everybody
no
did.
expectations for this.
All right, and then we've got Return to Silent Hill, which
Let's see if
I'm
they can
not mad at,
get Pyramid Head going, I guess. I don't know.
but I could understand it
games.
hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't jumped the shark yet, to my knowledge. So I'm like,
Yes,
all right.
well, I don't think it was
movie's
ever
been
that
shit.
great.
I
Like,
admittedly
movies have
don't
been
know a lot
absolute
about the
shit.
Silent Hill universe, so
The games are
Right.
nice and creepy.
I figure it's like the nurses.
Movies
The
are
nurses have
great.
taken off something fierce. So okay,
Yeah, they're always around.
yeah. Horoscope. Anyone know what horoscope is?
Garbage.
Nope. Yep. Garbage. Okay. Next. The Strangers, because we needed more on the Strangers. Nope.
We didn't need the second one.
Nope. No, we didn't. We said everything we need to say in the first one. The Watchers.
Don't know.
I got
But
nothing.
I'd like to find out about that.
And here we go. A Quiet Place Day 1. You know what? I've got an issue with Quiet Place overall. I'm one of those people, if just something in the generic premise doesn't click for me, it ruins the whole movie. When you had Quiet Place, why would you decide to give birth to a fucking baby? To a baby when everything is attracted by sound?
I think it was an accident.
Yeah, it was something that I think she was pregnant before it happened. And then,
And I haven't seen the second one yet, but I would be interested to see how these things came about.
it's
Okay.
second one doesn't really, well, kind of explains that, but I think this third one is supposed to explain where they came from.
Okay.
Not
It
everything
is-
needs to be explained.
I will say this.
I thought
This is the. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the third prequel on this list already, and we're only in June.
Yeah, and just going back to what we were saying before, you don't always need to explain the monster. Sometimes it's better when the monsters are just the monsters.
Mhm.
Just saying. Just saying. Speak No Evil. What the fuck is that?
No. What is Trap?
That's the
Is that
prequel
Mickey
to.
Mouse Trap?
That's the prequel to Hear No Evil, See No Evil. With
There we go. Richard Pryor. Yeah, there we go.
they're reanimating
Richard
Richard Pryor
Pryor,
and Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
I would watch that. And this is one I'm not sure. This is really divided people, I think. Alien Romulus. People that are fans of the Alien universe are for it. But again, did we really need another one?
Is Ridley Scott behind it?
That I don't know.
If he's keep going with what he was doing, it's going to be garbage. If somebody else is taking over and going to fix it, good.
I think he was putting a lot of his hopes on Napoleon, which kind of tanked. So
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be
I'll just see
interesting
any
to
alien
know.
movie that's out there, so I'm good.
Oh
Well,
my God. Oh my
I will
God.
say,
I'm sorry.
my mom is looking forward to this movie. I talked to her about it. My mom's 80. She's looking forward to the new Alien movie. That's apparently.
Hardcore.
I learned that was my mom's favorite franchise.
That's pretty fucking cool. I gotta say, Carl's comment there, just Gen Z versus Xenomorphs. Yes, I would line up. Yeah, I'd camp down for 3 days to watch that damn movie.
Yeah, that was Alien versus AVP. That's exactly what that was.
yeah.
Was it Gen Z versus New? Okay, I didn't watch
Pretty
it.
much.
Okay, I guess I got to see it now. Then, of course, the one everyone's looking forward to, Beetlejuice 2.
I'm not. I have a rule. You cannot if you go 15 years between sequels. No, it's gonna be bad. I've been proven wrong. I think once so far.
Hello, Clyde. Good to see you. Here's interesting though, but I mean, with Beetlejuice 2, they've got just about everybody back. So that's where you're not really sure, is it going to be good or is it going to be too much?
I have a question, and just this is a question for the group. What was the last
good sequel to anything?
what was the last Tim Burton movie that you liked?
Ooh.
I think mine was. Did he do Sleepy Hollow? Did he direct Sleepy Hollow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to
that
say
was it.
Sleepy Hollow, probably.
It was
All right,
either
so-
that or the From Hell.
Sweeney Todd, I actually really
No,
liked.
he didn't do From Hell. He did Sleepy
From Hell
Hollow,
was,
but they came out around
Raimi.
the same time. What was that?
That was Sam Raimi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I heard Carl said Big Fish. That was I think 2004 or 5.
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow was 1999.
All right. What was Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd was mid 2000s.
Okay.
Matt, did you throw one in?
Anything before Willy Wonka or the Alice in Wonderland shit.
So
Okay,
we're
I see
back
where
to
Rob's
like
going.
mid
Okay.
2000s. So it
Like
goes back to
anything
what I'm
before
saying.
that.
Tim Burton, I think his fingers off the pulse. I don't think he has it anymore, and I think that's why he's relying on trying to go back to the like one big hit or one of his big hits. I don't think he's a good director anymore.
The last one he did that I liked.
Okay.
So I think Frankenweenie came out. When did Frankenweenie come
Frankenweenie
out?
was last 10 years, I think 2012.
Okay, so that would be the newest one that he's done that I liked.
Okay.
I see. Anyway, I have very low expectations because I have very low expectations that I don't think Tim Burton's capable of a good movie anymore.
Well, I also think that he is relying on, and rightfully so, he's got Michael Keaton, he's got Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis. He has all the original characters in this movie playing these iconic characters. I don't think
Except
it really
for that
matters
one.
what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You know what? Talented people can make shitty movies.
And you're not wrong. I think this may be the exception, and I'll probably be let down, but
Is this going to be the last Saw movie? 11, please.
oh,
10 was
dude.
good. But
no,
Dude,
there'll be more.
No,
There will
we
always
need
be more Saw.
We don't need
Fuck,
more.
no.
I mean, I love them, but we don't need more.
no, we really, and still, it's Smile too. Who liked Smile enough that said, okay, there needs to be a second? Nobody liked that movie.
I hated the ending. I hated the ending and the way that they handled it. But the premise in the beginning of the movie kind of drew me in. I was like, okay, but then
Something
it
original,
kinda,
something different. Yeah.
and then it kind of fizzled out at the end. I was really bummed. So
Oh, God.
All right, so I see Wolfman is next. Now, is this going to be like Let's Erase the Benicio del Toro awesome Anthony Hopkins movie
That's-
and reboot
Exactly.
again?
Exactly.
no,
Therein lies the question. Ugh. That's funny. Randy's right. Tim Burton movies are almost as identical as Lifetime movies at this point. Yep, he's absolutely right. I think that's basically what he does. He's just like, okay, this is my stamp. I don't give a shit about plot, whatever. Let's do swirly shit and make shit weird, and there we go. Put a title on it. All right, and then of course.
Oh, it looks like the new Wolfman was with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
All right, you've got my
I
attention.
don't know if that necessarily means anything, but you know,
it's interesting. Okay, I'm
I'll
curious.
definitely go see it because I obviously love the Universal Monster shit. So
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. That might not be Bradley Cooper.
But then also, and Spooky Empire, obviously, massive fans. Terrifier 3, everyone's going to be lining the fuck up. You may see half of Spooky Empire's fan base in the fucking movie.
I haven't gotten a phone call yet.
Yeah, check your voicemail.
Yeah, right. Nosferatu, I'll go see that all day long on Christmas Day.
I've been begging for a Nosferatu with Doug Jones for so long.
Well, no, there is one, but what it is, it's actually his is coming out. But what they've actually,
that's what I'm talking about.
What Doug Jones's Nosferatu is, it's like it's literally they're like patching new stuff into the original movie.
Yeah, which I'm here for it. I'm here
Which
for
is
it.
a silent film anyway, so
yes,
I'm
100% here for it. And that's the only thing I did like about Renfield with Nicolas Cage last year. Was how they put him in past footage. That I liked. Is Selfie Guy coming back for Terror? I guarantee he's coming back for Terrifier. I don't even know shit about it. I can guarantee he's probably there, even if he's just in the background with a phone. Yeah, I'm sure he's there. And then Witchboard.
Witchboard remake. Why?
Moving on.
Why does Maxine look like it's going to be
80s? Looks like a heavy metal 80s logo, which I'm here for. I'm okay with that.
From the same people that is Maxine a character in X or?
Yes.
Yeah,
it is
the Survivor in X.
That's what that is.
Yes. And that Pearl and X, and I didn't like Pearl, but I loved X. So
does that Maxine logo kind of look like the same way they did heavy metal?
That's literally what
that's exactly what it looks like.
Oh, okay. When you said heavy metal, my brain was thinking music, and then
metal. Yeah, but that's exactly what that is, and I think that's exactly the vibe that they're going for, and I am absolutely here for it.
Salem's Lot. Let's go. Bring it.
Is this the third reboot?
How many?
Third time they're trying it.
Okay.
Christ almighty. What the fuck is a Shelby Oaks? I mean, I'm cool with it because it's not a remake and not a reboot, so I'm okay with it so far. But what is a Shelby Oaks?
A24 film? Because no, or A42 or whatever they are, forget it.
A24, yeah, but I have no idea what Shelby Oaks is. Thread. Oh, and there we go. Thread and Insidious. Because we needed to go back to the Insidious file.
No. Red Door was awful.
And I still think Insidious was just a remake of Poltergeist, and I stand by it. So fuck that. And of course, another Crow.
Well, hey, Bill Skarsgård, he's going to kill it. It's going to be amazing.
I'm going to say this about The Crow.
That's debatable.
I agree.
Well, we'll debate
it. If there was anyone with an ounce of intelligence in Hollywood, and I know there's not, they would have taken all the Crow stories and just made it an anthology on HBO. Because
that would have been the smart move.
There's about.
I agree with that.
There's
too.
about a dozen.
Yeah,
there's about a dozen Crow stories. They're all unique. They all have, there's the one element of they're brought back from the dead for vengeance. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some are good, some are not, but they're all different. They all have their own kind of thing going.
No, if they did like a Master of Horrors thing, I absolutely agree with you.
My point is, we don't need to revisit the first Crow again. There were much better stories than the Mark, was it Mark Draven? No, the Eric Draven. Mm-hmm. There were much better stories than the Eric Draven one, and they're just ignoring those to go back to do it again.
Just there's no originality left except for Shelby Oaks, which I have no idea. I hope I don't even know what the fuck it is. I hope it's good. And then I don't know what an Arcadian is. I got
I'm
nothing.
gonna look all of these up and look and see what their trailers or synopsis or something.
Yeah, and that's basically what we're going to be doing, before the next show, because our next show is going to be the celebrity death pool. So before that, we're going to discuss, which ones we're actually looking forward to, which ones look like shit,
Right.
etc.
The Arcadian. No, that's a 2011 version. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
Now,
don't fucking know.
there's things that are missing on this list too, like Del Toro's Frankenstein should be coming out this year. What else?
I
posted-
thought
Yeah, I posted an article that said Alex Garland is going to come back and do 28 years later.
Ooh,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Which
Yeah.
that actually
You know
looks
why
very
this
interesting.
graphic was made about a week and a half ago? Or no,
Yes.
or sorry, it was about 2 weeks ago, and that was only announced 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Mhm.
Cillian Murphy
So,
coming
yeah.
back for that? Cillian, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. Cillian,
Yeah,
Killian, same
it's
thing.
Cillian Murphy. Hopefully, because it was a quality film, and I'm he's one of my favorite kind of foreign actors, and
Awesome. I'd love to meet that
yeah,
guy.
I hope so. I really
Yeah,
hope.
and Clyde, we did just discuss Godzilla versus Kong just before you got here.
I'm about it. Nobody else is.
I just don't
Oh,
like
by the
Kong.
way, I mentioned Bradley Cooper in the Wolfman. I was wrong. That was Ryan Gosling.
Oh, god damn it.
What?
The werewolf?
Come on.
The
Ken?
Wolfman.
Just fucking Ken. That kind of destroyed everything.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't.
No, I won't be seeing that. I mean, I loved the new Invisible Man. That was great. I thought that was really well done and kind of a cool twist on like a modern version.
Is that
They
the
still
one
haven't
with
got the
Elizabeth
mummy
Moss?
right. Huh?
Is that the one with Elizabeth Moss? Incredible.
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
where the boyfriend has like the suit and
Yep,
it was a great movie. I
Yeah.
really dug that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they haven't got the mummy right yet. They're supposed to be doing a Dracula Unborn sequel, I believe. It's supposed to be coming out too, which I like that movie. I thought it was pretty cool. That was their new version of Dracula, and I really dug that. What else? I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I'm okay with them like rebooting the Universal monsters,
They
but I
need
mean,
to.
I just don't have any faith because we've seen what they do with remakes and reboots and sequels so far. So I'm not excited about it.
Just bring back gothic horror the right way.
Oh God, I wish. But one thing I do want to show you guys real quick. I saw this on TikTok and I had to get it. Oh, you didn't bring the remote control, did you? Yes, please. Okay. Now this may not look like much, but yes, from the new movie versus
Minus
Kong. The thing with this is an RC, and my son is going to bring up the remote, but it actually is an RC, so you have a remote control for it, and it's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. I've got a bunch of Godzilla toys, but hold on, is the switch on for this? Where's this? Oh, you could help, All right. All right. Let's see. Where's the? Is it going to work now? All right.
Cool.
Oh, wait. Just wait, though. Let's see if it actually does it. Now, here's the coolest part. Hold on. Other than the fact that it walks.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It shoots atomic breath.
That's so cool.
It's
like the the guys that made the $700 transforming Optimus Prime.
Yes.
They came out with a Buzz Lightyear, and it is really, really cool. And you put water in his little jetpack, and when he takes off from the movie, it spits out steam, so it looks like he's flying from his jetpack.
That's what this one. It's a little reservoir on top of his head, and then like the pink lights up the atomic breath. And it's like I collect Godzilla, but I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. You can find it at Target, Target.com. It is about $60, but honestly, I think it's absolutely worth it. I'm like an RC that I can actually,
That's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you'll hear like the stomping noises. Let me see if I can do it here. Let's see if you can hear the stomping noises. So he's going to be stomping all over.
Silent, and everything is going to be really cool.
Oh yeah. I'm going to put all sorts of things on the floor and just have him stomp on everything, and it's going to be glorious. So that was my Christmas present to myself. But yeah, Target.com is about $60. It's the new Empire Godzilla, and it's fucking amazing. This is one of the best things I've seen in forever. So So, do we have a game lined up for tonight, or
Nope. I spent all my time putting together a list. So
there we go? Okay, well
that
that's
was
all
your
the
game.
for that.
Happy New
And-
Year, everyone. Welcome
yes,
back.
yes.
Here.
Hope your 2024 is better than the list that we just showed you of all the shitty movies that are coming out.
Yay.
It will be once I get the fuck out of Florida.
Yes, and unfortunately, we are going to be saying goodbye to Matt as he leaves for the big tundra up in New York State.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm not going. I'll still be on here. I'm not. I'll still be at shows. I'm not going
Oh, of
anywhere.
course, of
just
course.
leaving
But
the
I mean,
house.
you're not going to be like here. You know, if we want to
No.
get together for a beer, that's really not going to be feasible until.
Well,
Camp
you
Spooky.
come up to New York City. You can come drive 6 hours. Come see me,
That's true. We can do that. We can do that.
or I can meet you halfway.
That works for me. So, Godzilla's Frozen Empire or Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Oh, is that the new one, Frozen Empire?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the full name.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the full name. Okay, I'm not.
I saw some
familiar with
pictures
it.
the other day. It looks like they're bringing back like the slime guns from 2
Nice.
and all kinds of stuff for this one. So I'm a huge Ghostbusters freak anyway. So
Yeah, no, and that's why we
I'm
came
not
up
the
with
guy
this
running
list.
around with the proton pack and stuff like that, but I love the movies. Like that when
That's
I was a
fucking
kid,
fantastic.
I went and saw that in the theater and it blew me away.
That's fucking fantastic. All right, with that, I think I'm gonna go play with Gojira for a while and have him scare the shit out of my dog.
Yeah, I gotta go watch
Yeah.
the latest episode of Monarch.
Yeah, and
All
actually,
right.
we're gonna introduce our son to the Blair Witch because Camp Spooky. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited for this reunion, you guys. You have no idea. Oh,
We'll try
Janine
and
wears
make
the
it back
plate
down
suit.
for it.
Nice.
All right, folks.
All right, we love
See you
you.
soon.
Stay
Oh, and
warm.
also FYI, next episode is Celebrity Death Pool. So
So we're gonna
So,
announce the winner and then
notifications.
do another pool.
exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
Ta-ta.
With that, fuck off.
Good night.